what we're seeing right now is markets attempt to correct themselves. They were kind of riding on high. And even with the COVID stuff, it kind of distorted the market and people got overconfident. And now the market itself is trying to fix itself. And you're seeing an absolute bloodbath in both media companies and tech companies. We're going to discuss a little bit about that here in a minute. But before we get going, I have to, of course, give all of you guys the props that it is that you deserve. We're at over 10,000 covers sold for Cover B. It's the first cover to hit at 10,000. For ISOM number 2, pre-order. You can go get that if you haven't. 1.6 million, 1.621 million. Closing in on 14,000 total purchasers. And we still got 2 months to go. Also, we are under 1,000 sold. So like we have over 24,000 books total sold. And once we hit that, of course, 25K mark, the final mass print, the print of ISOM 2 that will forever be printed, no matter how long this company exists. You can get that, or you will be able to get that. It'll be available to you very soon. The short box of pencil and ink will be done today. I still have to get it colored, and then it'll go out there on the campaign store. So thank you all for the support. 1,135 total books donated, man. You guys are the absolute best. But in other news, National Geographic right now lays off all of its staff writers. In all, 19 editorial staffers were cut, including a small audio department at the magazine. And of course, they had been notified in April that acts would fall. I don't know if they knew all of them was going to get fired. And you have the writers, senior writers, talking about their experience. Look. Well, as it says right here, founded by the National Geographic Society, blah, blah, blah. The magazine was sold to 21st Century Fox. Of course, Disney now has that, and here you are. So Disney has inherited a bunch of debt, and the same thing can actually be said for Warner, and I think that's a big part of this. It's this mega corporation stuff. You got entities connected to entities connected to entities. And as the bigger brand certainly isn't doing good as it had been previously, this is what has to happen. I would actually keep your eyes on publications within comics for both the big two, because that's another line item in which they're not really making that much money on. But I'm not going to say they may cut it all, but I wouldn't be surprised, let's say, if they kind of had that dwindle down and then they maybe license some of this stuff off because they're not making that much money. Keep in mind, this is who Nat Geo is. This is what they inherited. Jan issue 100% devoted to exploring gender. And this is a child who I'm guessing is a boy. And they are presenting them as, this is sick. The fact that they thought this was okay, they got everything it is that they deserve. Hashtag gender revolution. This was several years ago in 2016. Basically right when this craziness started to really, really kick it in high gear. So now she is the former editor-in-chief of Nat Geo. All these guys deserve what they deserve, okay? But this is something that I think everybody needs to watch out for as far as the markets. Everybody was on the high. I said that. It was all good. Economy's doing great. And then you had a shift more culturally as well as economically, but people started to pay a little more attention, to where their money was going. You know, when you don't have, so you can do whatever it is that you want to do, and you can have all the expectations in the world. But when you start not meeting those numbers, you have to start acting accordingly. You can afford to take a loss, Disney, for a short period of time. But when you spend multiple years taking losses, or rather multiple projects, and you're not just losing, 100,000 here or 100,000 here, you're losing billions of dollars through your streaming service. You're losing a multi-million dollars in every movie that it is, not everyone, but a lot of these movies that you're dropping. You're not seeing that success that you once had. And therefore, because your operations were more so reliant on how you were doing before, now you can't, every business has to go through this. It's going to be ups, it's going to be downs, and you're going to have to cut where you cut. If you're in media, definitely, and you're tied to like the mainstream guys who, like CNNs of the world, they're tied to like a Warner, and you see Nat Geo and other little publications and stuff, they're tied to Disney. And again, as they they run out of capital, or if they have any at all, because they have all this debt, adjustments have to get made. And you're finding that for a lot of these guys, how big is the demand? Really, the only luxury that you had, I mean, the primary thing that you had going for yourself was being attached to a mega corporation, because you could, again, afford to have losses. Like, if I'm losing like that, my company's done. Okay, it's as simple as that, because I'm not tied to some mega corporation that could bail me out. But for these guys, they could get away with it for a certain amount of time until they can't. If you like this video and want to get into a new comic book universe, visit Rippaverse.com. Our first campaign for ISOM 1 hit $3.7 million, and the pre-order campaign for ISOM 2 is currently live. So go check it out and watch the official launch trailer, which is the first animation of Rippaverse Studios.